Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. ExCons of Reddit. What was the hardest prison habit to break after being released? I didn't use a fork for a few weeks. Ate everything with a spoon without thinking. It's not the most interesting thing, but I hadn't noticed it posted here. I still do this from being in the military. I hate eating with forks. Gym a spoon or some chopsticks. Edit. Thank you. After boot camp, it took me years to stop eating at a breakneck speed. I still have trouble making myself slow down, and it's been well over a decade. Taking as long as you want in the shower. For the longest time, after I got out, I took less than 5-minute showers. My friend did 2.5 in Florida State Prison. Said the first thing he did when he got home was shower until all the hot water ran out. Edit. Because this seems to be coming up a lot. This was like 15 years ago. Tankless water heaters weren't really a thing back then. I'm not totally sure if they even existed, and if so they weren't common in lower income households. So, yes, it was very possible to run out of hot water. Wow, sounds like a weekday for me. It's cooler cobras. I bike to work every day. Doing laps. In prison, every time you get time on the yard, you do laps. Seriously, almost every single person does it too. When you get out, it's hard to break that habit. Oh yeah, this is accurate. This guy went to prison. Pacing back and forth in your pot to get that little bit of cardio in. Pretty much any time you've got the chance to lol. Do some laps, maybe see a few people to get something for when you're locked in. Talk some SHT, then get ready for lock-in, only to repeat it again the very next day, every day, for the next couple years. I find myself hoarding toilet paper under my bed. Sometimes I do it without thinking, and I'll look under there and have 10 rolls of TP. Probably stupid question, but why did you hoard it in prison? The hardest thing has been to talk without using the words fuck, fucking or arsehole in every sentence. Become a trucker or construction worker and you should fit right in. Edit. Or, apparently, a chef/cook, software engineer/programmer/it, mechanic, sailor/marine/soldier, or nurse/EMS. I'm a construction worker. I've cussed while talking to a priest many times without realizing it. My wife makes sure to yell at me later. Oops. I spent 72 months in prison for a tragic car accident that I had caused. After I was released, I kept telling my wife exactly what I was doing without her asking. She thought it was funny at first, but after a few weeks of it, she was starting to get bothered. I am now putting it in. Edit. Mayo. Thanks for the gold. I am going to plan your surprise birthday party. A somewhat friend of mine did a few years, and the one habit he couldn't shake was distrust in people. He said that people in prison are never nice. If they're nice, it's because of a hidden motive. Up to this day he still doesn't trust people who act nice/generous/helpful/ towards him. I've grown up in a sort of rough environment. It's like that in general there too. Nothing is free, everything at a price. I had a guy want something from me as a teenager and I didn't do it for him. He brought up to me that he told me where a good hardware store was. Didn't take me there, buy me anything, or even tell me that they for sure had what I was looking for. Just told me where a supposed good one was. He thought this was leverage enough to get what he wanted out of me. Nope. Making prison commissary only food. Everyone around me thinks it is gross as hell to throw summer sausages, pickles, cheese, Doritos, Cheetos, and such into my ramen noodles, but good lord, I can't stop, and I have been out for 5 years. My dad was in and out of jail when I was a child. When he was out, he used to make me jailhouse slams, basically whatever you can find to throw into ramen, as you said. I thought they were the best thing ever, and it was so cool cause I ate what my dad ate, right? Fast forward about 12 years, and I'm telling my GF this story and she's just like, your dad fed you prison food? Edit. A word edit too. My highest comment is about my traumatizing childhood, lol, thanks guys. Not me, but guy who worked for me. When things were very busy, I would often get carry out lunch for everyone and bring it back to the workplace. This one guy would eat a cheeseburger and french fries in 2 minutes. Wow. Once I asked him why he ate so quickly. He said, well Nobs Fogma, I spent 7 years in a federal prison, and if you didn't eat your meal in 10 minutes, you didn't get anything. That 10 minutes often included the time it took standing in line to get your food. Okay then. I never said anything to him about it after that. Hey you. You're a decent human being. You hired an ex-con. Keep up the decency. My ex would sleep a certain way all the time. To me it seemed like he was sleeping as if he was in a coffin, his arms crossed, and wouldn't move the entire night for a couple months. He eventually broke that habit. Edit, a word. I did that too when I was in. Not because I was afraid of getting raped, but because if someone came at me when I was sleeping, it was the best position to be able to defend yourself. I'm a stomach sleeper normally. I'm sure this was his reason too. When I would go visit him and see other inmates through the glass, I would be so afraid for him. Some guys look like beasts and act very wild. Dude I work with said for the first little bit after getting out he would take a leg out of his pants when he shit. Not sure how common that was. Dude's a fighter though, so maybe that had something to do with it. A couple guys I know after being out for 5 to 10 years wrap their arms around their plates and shovel food in their mouths at the speed of light. They are also super defensive of their food. When I first got to know them, I jokingly swiped a chip off one of their plates and he flipped his fork up and demanded I give it back. Freaked me out a little. I could just imagine them going on a date with one of them people who says they don't want anything but then proceed to grab something off your plate. I don't smoke, but every time someone offered me a cigar I would pocket it on the inside. That's a bartering chip. Took me about a month or two to break. My friend once told me he got hooked on watching news channels and crappy daytime television. He said he also enjoyed listening to AM radio now, even though he knows specific podcasts exist that are more tailored to him. He killed himself 3 years ago after getting a 20-year sentence just 1 year after getting out. Edit, a lot of people asking questions, so I'll just go ahead and clarify here. At 18 he served a little over a year in prison for moving marijuana, got out, violated parole and got caught moving mass amounts of marijuana and other things like breaking into home/petty theft, which was going to send him back for at least 15 years. After the jig was up he had a while where he was allowed to stay at home, where he shot himself with a 9mm pistol in the head. He survived the initial shot, but later died 2 days after going to the hospital. Was a great friend and knew him since elementary school. Top of our graduating class in high school. Just too much exposure to the wrong people. Being paranoid, always looks over my shoulder and never letting anyone stand behind me. Even people passing on the side of me, I'm always turning my head to see what they're doing. Point food, I could be the last one to eat, first one done. And I still stand when I eat around people. I got out 2 years ago, and I cannot for the life of me shake my aggressive posturing. That's all prison is, being hypervigilant, and I would argue worse yet, always appearing indifferent. Like you could be kicking it with your friends, laughing, watching TV, but then even the slightest misphrasing of something, or a sudden movement will shift the whole mood of the room at a drop of a dime. So whatever emotion you display has to be instantly shut off, and on a moment's notice you have to be booted and sweeted. I would return to my unit on occasion and there would be blood smeared on the walls from a fight I missed. You didn't look at it. Eyes forward, indifferent. Emotion is weakness, and though I was secretly panicking, I had to bury and put on as a cold moth Evka. I got in one fight. We beat the SHT out of each other in the gym area, and if you judge by other people's responses, it was like nothing was happening at all. Many quietly walked away, while others just stood there emotionless. If it had gone south for me, I could have been killed in front of 250 people, and nobody would have said or done jack SHT. That is true loneliness, the which of like few people in the first world truly understand. FK, if I got a bad fever in bed at night, which I did several times, even though there were 6 bunks in my cramped cell, I could have died in my sleep and the guards would have only noticed at count. There were 12 guards on duty for 1500 inmates. Think about that. If someone wanted to FK with you, you'd be hamburger meat before a guard showed up. So that's the way it was. High tension all the time, mad respect for everyone, stage act as FK, and walk shoulders straight on the yard. In the wait area, I've seen John Cena looking swastika tatted Aryan motherfuckers say please and thank you to 4 waits to Terry Crews looking black power guys, and they said the same back. That's simple. Your fortune is on your back, and in the words you speak. Surprisingly, it equated to a surprisingly smooth system. Once you earned your bones, respect, on compound you just went through life like a robot and there was little friction. Because everyone knew the smallest spark could ignite an inferno. So many stories I could tell, but the point is that raw genuine brute value has no currency in the real world. People will scoff at you. That other size of your thigh. I get cut off in line at the grocery store. People mean mugs from across the room. All that SHT is liable to get you hurt in prison. And it's hard to let go of this mentality once you're out. I'm an educated white kid from a rural area, and I was thrown into a metropolitan prison. I didn't have an ounce of aggression in me before, and my wife, who has stuck by my side through it all, says I'm as gentle and kind as before, but my prison mannerisms stick around nonetheless. She's always telling me not to make such strong eye contact with people, not to cross my arms all the time. It is subliminal and I'm getting better at it, but it's been hard as hell to shake. Moral of the story, don't go to prison kids, because you're only one poor decision away. TLDR, aggressive posturing. Edit, to all my brothers and sisters, thank you for your kind words and encouragement. It's this kind of response that kept me going when I was down. From friends, family, and all the beautiful people I met who were locked away for this bullshit war on drugs. We are people still, and for me, out of darkness, I found the greatest gift of all, conviction. Conviction to be better, smarter, stronger and kinder. I hope the message can be resonated without having people walk my same path. Thank you for the gold. And to all those who have specific questions, I will reply when I have more time for passionate answers. Love you all. Realizing I could just get up and go somewhere. That I could make plans tomorrow from 1,000 different choices. Hard to break the habit of checking everyone who enters your vicinity. It feels like you've got to mark everyone off as a non-threat. Edit, I don't care if you do that and you've never been to prison. As a former prison guard, it's a hard habit for us to break as well. Constantly looking over my shoulder. By far the hardest conditioning to break, which I haven't, and doubt I ever will, is the constant pessimism and cautious optimism. You see, when you're waiting to work your way through court, get a deal, and get sentenced, you will have your dates changed 50 times, hope for certain things only to be disappointed, and anytime you are told something hopeful it doesn't work out. As a result, I never get excited for something until it actually happens. When my wife told me we were pregnant, I already knew from her symptoms that she was, but still, you never know for sure till you take the test. I was obviously happy, but because I'm always cautiously optimistic and rarely show emotion, I couldn't feel comfortable or excited until I knew that my developing daughter was healthy. Even then, it didn't really hit me till she was born. You can apply this to anything, especially big events. Getting engaged, planning the wedding, buying a house, anything. I still hear from my wife how I wasn't crazy surprised or excited to be having a kid. I actually was the half of the relationship who was dead set on a kid when my wife supposedly cold gone either way. You just can't get your hopes up or look forward to anything until it is here or has happened. I've been home over 7 years now and with my wife for 6.5. She's truly the catalyst that motivated me to truly change my life and to not give any more of my life to the system. But she'll never know how happy she makes me because she misinterprets my cautious optimism/realism for pessimism or indifference. Thank you very much for watching. In the comments under the video, write what you think about all this. Also, don't forget to watch our other videos. Bye.